Hey everyone, this is Jonathan Marx from Go To Health. I hope you're having a great day. Today's show is such an important topic. It's about the development and treatment of gynecologic cancers for women. We're talking with an expert by the name of Sharyn Lewin. She founded the Lewin Fund, which is dedicated to raising money for research and providing social services support for women with gynecologic cancers. Stick with us. You'll learn more about how to recognize early signs of gynecologic cancers, how you can prevent them with lifestyle, and what you should do if you think you have early onset. We'll also be talking about the upcoming fundraising walk and 5K run, the Walk for Women's Cancers, and that's October 4th in Paramus, New Jersey, but it will also be online, so you can really participate from around the country. The Lewin Fund to Fight Women's Cancers is a 501c3 organization dedicated to transforming the lives of women and families impacted by gynecologic cancers, and you can learn more at thelewinfund.org. That's Lewin, thelewinfund.org. So welcome to the show, Dr. Sharyn Lewin. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. So can we talk about the signs and symptoms of different kinds of women's cancers and what people should be looking for?
Thank you, Jonathan, for having me today. Yes, it's very important to talk about the signs and symptoms. So any bleeding after menopause is definitely abnormal and definitely should alert a woman to go see her gynecologist right away. Also, if women are still having their periods, any change in their menstrual cycle, so heavier bleeding, bleeding in between their periods, heavier bleeding, or anything that's different from the norm, any abdominal or pelvic pain, bloating, feeling full too quickly, changes in their bowel or bladder habits, really anything that's different in their body habits should really prompt going to the doctor right away.
And anything about early signals for breast or lumps?
Yes, I mean, women should definitely do self-breast exams. It's very important. We know so many women that are finding their own breast masses. So doing a self-breast exam at least once a month is very important. You know,
Mhm.
can't emphasize enough the importance of really doing these screening exams as well too. Mammograms should start at 40 once a year. It's really important to have a colonoscopy starting at the age of 45. Women should definitely see their gynecologist every year starting at the age of at least 21 and should continue. You know, these cancers are really on the rise for young women, but definitely increase as women age. We see that so many women stop going to the gynecologist after they've had their children.
Hmm.
And gynecologic cancers definitely tend to peak as women age. So it's very important that women continue to see their gynecologists every year, even after they have children, even throughout menopause.
Tell me a little bit about your experience with this, because I know men are notorious about not taking care of their health and avoiding doctors and actually having to get convinced by their wives to go see the doctor. But what is it about women? Do women also have these equal kinds of problems and reluctance to see doctors?
Well, Jonathan, we see that half of all women in the literature do not know the signs and symptoms of cancer. So, thank you so much for bringing this to the audience's attention. We see in the literature, too, that almost half of women diagnosed with gynecologic cancers never attended a screening program as well. So,
Wow.
that's having these conversations are so important to really educate the community about the signs and symptoms so these things can be recognized and then detected quite early, and really the importance of these routine health maintenance and screening exams.
Now, you founded the Lewin Fund, and I know the Lewin Fund supports gynecologic research. What are some new advancements or exciting advancements in gynecologic oncology right now?
So, the space in GYN oncology is so different than it used to be. It's actually really an exciting time to be a GYN oncologist as well as a patient. We have so many clinical trials, for example, that are ongoing to find ways to extend life, to help treat people with much better side effects. There's a whole class of agents, for example, called antibody drug conjugates. These novel agents have really incredible response rates. We see that they're being, used not only in the gynecologic space, but also other types of solid tumors as well. So we have a lot of really exciting ways to treat women with gynecologic cancers. Of course, we're doing so many things on the prevention space as well, too. We really want to help prevent cancers. One thing that I love to talk about is the role of obesity and cancer, because I think a lot of Americans don't really understand the importance of obesity and the risk factor that weight actually has with cancer.
Hmm.
So many of our patients who have uterine or endometrial cancer are really overweight.
Hmm.
And we now know that being overweight is a risk factor for about 13 different kinds of cancers,
Wow.
particularly uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, 13 cancers. So we do see in the literature that half of all cancers in the United States could actually be prevented with lifestyle issues. And a big one of those lifestyle issues is staying in an ideal body weight. So eating a healthy diet, like a Mediterranean diet, exercising, not smoking, limiting alcohol, but really maintaining an ideal body weight is actually very critically important to lowering cancer risk as well as other risks in addition.
I'm so glad you mentioned this. There's this explosion of popularity in GLP-1 drugs. Do we have enough evidence or any evidence yet to show that that can reduce the incidence of cancer in women who are overweight?
We actually do. So with weight, not only do you have a lot of excess estrogen, but you actually have a very high inflammatory state in the body.
Mm.
And the two things that actually are harmful and sort of lead to cancer and unregulated cells. So anything that women and men can really do to lower that inflammation and that cortisol in their bodies and also reduce weight is very helpful. But particularly for women, the excess weight just creates a lot of estrogen. And that's why we see a lot of these excess estrogen dependent cancers like endometrial cancer, breast cancer, for example. So it's really critically important to use the GLP ones, whatever mechanism to keep your weight in an ideal body weight is very important.
You talked a little bit before about prevention. Would you like to say more about how people can prevent gynecologic cancers?
Sure. We know in the literature that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 2 men will actually be touched by cancer in the United States. So it's actually pretty staggering statistics, but you can really empower yourself to change those statistics with prevention. And half of those cancers can really be prevented with lifestyle issues. So staying in an ideal body weight. So that's really eating a healthy diet and this Mediterranean diet, which is having a very colorful plate of food, a lot of vegetables, fruits, lean meats, really avoiding processed foods. So I cannot say enough about the importance of a healthy diet.
Hmm.
Uh, Ideal body weight. Exercise is very important. Now, the recommendations are 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise per week. So that's like 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Not smoking and limiting alcohol. Just those things can prevent half of all cancers in the United States.
Half. That's
Half.
amazing.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Doing those screening things we talked about, the mammograms, colonoscopies, seeing your gynecologist, getting a skin check every year to help, catch any skin cancers early. Can't say enough about how important prevention really is.
Tell me a little bit more about alcohol. I know in the last, 18 months, there have been a lot of studies that have come out that have really talked about the deleterious effects of alcohol. What do we know about that and its relation to cancer?
We've learned a lot about alcohol and its relation to fatty liver and the harms with the how it creates a fatty sense of liver and liver toxicities. And so we've seen a lot of controversy in the literature about the role of alcohol, but I think overall less is more. And so I think really why we used to think everything in moderation, trying to really limit the alcohol overall is the best.
Now, you started the Lewin Fund in 2014. So you're celebrating what, like 12 years now. Congratulations. What inspired you to start the fund, Sharyn? What was missing? What did it mean for you?
So, actually, Jonathan, a grateful patient who passed away with uterine cancer actually left a bequest in her will for us to start this foundation. She was so inspired by the work that I was doing for women with cancer. She really wanted that to continue on a much larger scale. So, really, unbeknownst to me, and really, this fund and foundation really grew out of a passion for women and women with cancer. And so what makes us really unique is that everyone on the board, we're all voluntary. No one takes a salary. It's really a passion project for us. All the money that we raise really goes towards our initiatives. And we're really proud of the things that we've done and how we've helped our community in so many different facets and really made a difference for women with cancer and their families.
So people can learn more, and let me spell this. I'll say it and spell it. It's thelewinfund.org, and Lewin is spelled Lewin, thelewinfund.org. So tell us more about the work that you do and the cancer research that you fund, Sharyn.
Oh, thank you so much for asking. So we sort of have a mission that involves three different things. One is definitely research. So we fund a lot of novel, innovative research endeavors, partner with a lot of incredible organizations like Dana-Farber Cancer Institute in Boston, really doing a lot of novel translational and clinical trial work when it comes to not only uterine cancer and ovarian cancer, and really understanding behind the scenes how these different trials work on the protein levels to really help women and their families, working with a lot of other industry partners and leaders at places like Sloan Kettering. These novel clinical trials, that's really what makes a difference, helping women and their families with cancer. So the research is really a critical component. We also have a lot of social programs, things like transportation programs, helping fund women get to their chemotherapy appointments, and helping with behavioral and psychosocial programs, and house cleaning projects, and food and pantry projects. And, it's so interesting that after the COVID-19 pandemic, there were just so many needs that happened for people and their families with cancer all across the country. And we really stepped in to fill those needs. And we're just really proud of the direct impact that we've had for patients and their families. And then another big part of what we do is a lot of education and advocacy, just to really help prevent cancer and, to really educate about the importance of prevention and treatment and early detection, which is so important to really make a difference.
Good. You mentioned before the term translational research. What does that mean?
So, we try to figure out, it's kind of the science about really how these drugs work within our cells. That's kind of a way to describe it. A lot of times, pharmaceutical partners will actually pay for these clinical trials, learning about how these different exciting new drugs will work with patients.
Mm-hmm.
We need to understand the science about how that actually works on the cellular level so that we can make changes in the future. And so that's where foundations like ours really step in to try to really understand the science in the DNA and the cellular level so that we can make different changes in the future. And that's also what's very interesting, because it helps lead to new discoveries for the next level of clinical trials in the future. Some of our work has been published at really national science meetings like the AACR, for example, and SGO and ASCO. And it's really fun to see the charge leading forward in science across the country.
That's so exciting. I just did a show recently on the cutbacks in Medicaid and the expanded work requirements and the effects this is going to have on cancer patients. Can you comment at all on that?
Oh, that's a huge topic. It's quite scary, to be honest. The financial burden of having a cancer diagnosis is astounding. It's really heartbreaking because so many people can't work. They have insurance implications. The financial burden that's a whole nother topic for a whole session, but we need so many resources for these men and women, in an insurance standpoint, but there are just so many loopholes when it comes to medications and resources in the family. And we try to step in when we can for transportation, for house cleaning, for psychosocial support, for food and pantry. It's there, we should really do a segment on the financial burden and aspects of not only cancer, but any chronic illness. But it's a very real impact for so many Americans.
Yeah, we can do that, and I will look forward to doing that. But basically, for everybody, the new work requirements basically require either people to work, or if you can't work, you have to qualify for the fact that you can't work not once a year, which it used to be, but now twice a year. And if you miss the deadline, or if you miss all the documentation, you can actually lose your Medicaid services. So it's really a huge impact on the cancer community. So, Sharyn, let's talk about your Women's Walk for Cancers. Tell us about that. When is it? Where is it? And how can people either donate to it or participate?
Well, this is our 7th annual Walk for Women's Cancers, and it's hard to believe 7 years in the making. And what's so exciting about it is this year it's also going to be a certified 5K run. So it's going to be a run in addition to a Walk for Women's Cancers. It's on October 4th. In county, we have not only an in-person option, but a virtual option for any of your listeners all across the country who may want to form your own teams and groups anywhere in the country that you are. September is Gynecologic Cancer Awareness Month. As you may know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So back to back that are very important for women. It's such an important time in our country to really help promote women's health issues, a time when women's health issues may not receive enough publicity and recognition. So we always need to talk about women's health issues. But again, October 4th in Bergen County. But it's an amazing event where a lot of survivors, patients, people that are very passionate about women's cancers, families, people that know the importance of supporting women with cancer, preventing women's cancers, really come together to help support this cause. Just such a wonderful feeling of passion, community, camaraderie. It's actually really a lot of fun. And we're really excited this year that it'll actually be a certified 5K. So we hope people will bring their running shoes, and you can run, you can walk, but we have a band, a DJ, a lot of vendors, a lot of educational materials, a great kids corner. There'll be a lot of fun activities. So we really hope people will join us.
And this is in Bergen County, which is northern New Jersey. That's where Sharyn's located. And I'll also say that's where I grew up. So I have a particular affinity to this. But it's really great, Sharyn, that people can participate virtually from around the country.
That is correct. I know you have listeners from all across the country.
Yes, good. So remember, people, you can learn more at thelewinfund.org. It's LEWIN, thelewinfund.org. So Sharyn, are there any questions I didn't ask that I should have, or what kind of big message would you like to leave with people today?
Please come join us in Paramus, New Jersey on October 4th. We would love to see you all there. We've got such great community and national partners that have joined us for 7 years. It's a really fantastic event. But thank you so much for bringing such importance and highlight to the importance of women's cancers. I think I would just love to leave that uterine or endometrial cancer is the most common gynecologic cancer that we see. And unfortunately, in the United States, incidence is rising every single year. And unfortunately, that's now the most common cause of mortality or death from gynecologic cancers. And so we really need women to understand the signs and symptoms, particularly our minority patients, where there are a lot of disparities. So if women have any bleeding after menopause, any abnormal bleeding in their menses, or you're still having periods, please do see your gynecologist right away. Don't delay. Know your body and really advocate for yourself. It's just really important that, early detection and diagnosis can really make a huge difference in outcomes.
Thank you so much for being with us today, Sharyn. I'm so glad we can get this message out. And remember, the Walk for Women's Cancer and the 5K run is October 4th.
In Paramus, New Jersey. So please come join us, and please visit thelewinfund.org. You can have all the details of the walk and see past pictures, and it's really a lot of fun.
Good. My pleasure. The Lewin Fund to Fight Women's Cancers, just so you know, is a 501c3 organization dedicated to transforming the lives of women and families impacted by gynecologic cancers. Thanks so much for being with us today, Sharyn. It's been really great to have you. This has been Jonathan Marx with Go to Health. Remember, you can see us at our website where we've got over 300 evidence-based shows. You can watch us on YouTube. You can listen to us on podcast networks. And if you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up or a 5-star review. That helps get evidence-based medicine out to more people. Thanks in advance. This has been Jonathan Marx with Go to Health. And as we say at the end of every show, go to health. God bless. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Thanks, Sharyn.
It's always such a pleasure to talk to you. Such great content.
Thank you for tuning in today to Go to Health. You are one of almost 10,000 people per day who enjoy the evidence-based health information offered by our guest health experts. You can watch us on our website and YouTube and listen to us on 8 podcast networks. Be sure to join Jonathan Marx in our upcoming shows each week. If you like our show, please share this episode with your friends and colleagues. You can subscribe to the show, join our email list, send us feedback, browse through the online store, and view our library of over 150 shows at gotohealthmedia.com. See you next time, and remember to elevate your life with Go to Health.